Hello you guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. First and foremost, Happy New Year. 2021 is finally here. Before jumping any further into today's video, be sure to click that subscribe button. We are trying to hit 5K. That is the next goal for this channel, so if you haven't joined the family already, please do. I post videos 3 times a week, so there is always new content to binge. Now, as I'm filming this video, it's actually 2 days before New Year's, but I seriously cannot believe that by the time this video is up, it's going to be 2021. People have laughed at me, and I really don't know why I'm saying this, but I have a good feeling about 2021. I mean, it's just gotta be the turnaround that we all need. This is also really weird, but I also think that the numbers 2021 look really good on paper, and so I feel like in years when it looks really great, like written down on paper, it's always gonna be like a surprising year and just a good year in some way. For the past like 4 years, I wanna say, I've been making these yearly wrap-up videos where I basically just talk about everything that happened in my year, what I've learned, what I'm excited for. I just feel like it's a really good way to kind of like tie a nice little bow on like the previous year. And since January 1st happened to fall on a Friday this year, which is one of my uploading days, I thought, what better way to kick off my 2021 content with my 2020 wrap-up video. Without further ado, I'm just gonna jump right into it and we're gonna talk about my personal 2020. I feel like January was a pretty chill month for both me and Kevin. We were kind of just like working. Retail was a little bit slower, life felt a little bit slower. So I feel like our world just kind of primarily revolved around just like chilling out, hanging with each other, and like going to our 9-to-5s. Nothing really monumental happened in that month. February, however, was a little bit more packed. The first thing that happened is we re-signed our lease on our old apartment. We're actually currently in the process of moving out of that apartment. If you guys watch my content, you know that we recently just found a new apartment, so we're completely like knees deep in the moving process. But we re-signed our lease for our old apartment. We were really happy with being there for another year. Little did we know we actually wouldn't be there that much. So looking back on it, I would have definitely like not re-signed, and we probably just would have put our stuff like in a storage unit, but obviously like we couldn't look into the future. We didn't know what was about to hit us. Valentine's Day was also that month. We had a really great day in the city with Dakota. I remember we got her a Valentine's Day sweatshirt, so we walked around the city, we got Starbucks, and we just enjoyed just like being with each other. And then the biggest thing to happen in February is that Kevin actually became an uncle for the first time. This was just so amazing to get to watch and experience, and I'm just so happy for Kevin. He's seriously like the best with kids, and we're all obsessed with the new babies, so it was a great way to kind of end February. Oh, and then also in February, I almost forgot about this, I got my job at Equinox. If you guys didn't know, I was working there part-time as some of their like front desk staff, but I was also gonna start training to be a cycling instructor there. That was like my goal for the future of being with the company. I was really excited. You guys know I love fitness. It kind of felt like the perfect job for me, and I was really excited. We all know where this is going. Then we get to March, and the pandemic really hits the US, and New York City completely shuts down. I think we all thought that the shutdown was only gonna be for about 2 weeks or so, and then like businesses started closing. Both me and Kevin, the stores that we were working at, were kind of like the last businesses in our neighborhood to close, which was really bizarre because both me and Kevin were like getting really worried about this pandemic, and it obviously wasn't safe to continue working, so we were just waiting like to get the call that we didn't have to come into work. March 17th, we both got that call, and the next morning we flew out to Nashville, Tennessee, which if you guys didn't know, that's where I used to live. We decided to fly to Nashville to be with my family just because there's a lot more space in Nashville. Dakota has more space to run, and we figured like if there's gonna be a shutdown for 2 weeks or more, we might as well be somewhere where we're not like stuck in an apartment all day. And also the city was just, it felt super chaotic. The grocery stores were a mess. Literally like there wasn't any bread or toilet paper left. You guys know how it was. Little did we know we'd actually be in Nashville for a little over 5 months, and it was actually definitely a little bit of a blessing in disguise, and I'll explain why later. About 5 days after New York shut down and we were in Nashville, I got the call that I was unfortunately let go from Equinox simply due to just being one of their newest hires, which I completely understood, but it definitely caused a little bit of heartbreak in the moment. But the silver lining in all of this, and I always kind of try to look at the positives in life, the silver lining was my retail job was closed for the time being. I had been let go by Equinox equinox, and Broadway was dark for the time being, meaning that auditions had completely stopped, and so it forced me to pivot and pivot really fast. And so around March 22nd, March 23rd, I created my online producing business and I got my first client. It's really crazy looking back to see how fast it all happened. I don't think it felt that fast in the moment, but like looking back, I was like, oh my god, so my job shut down on the 17th, and by the 23rd, I had built this whole new business plan and got my first client. Obviously, I never expected it to grow in the way that it did, and I didn't expect for it to become my full-time job, but the fact that I had anybody interested in my services, I was so excited for. April and May were both a lot of the same. It was building my business, booking new clients left and right, and really realizing that I had something really special with my business. I was truly working like a whole nother 9 to 5, and although I was still technically employed by my retail job, it was obviously closed, so it really did kind of feel like I had this whole new career. As great as the money is in luxury retail, I was making double what I was typically bringing home in a month, and it was just amazing to me to see that I was doing this literally all on my own, and my business was just growing so organically. If you guys want to hear more about my producing business, my freelancing business, you can definitely check out my podcast. I talk about that a lot on my podcast, so I always link it down below. You can listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, basically anywhere you listen to your podcasts, and subscribe if you haven't already. So then we get to June, which if you guys don't know, that is my birthday month, and this was actually the year that I turned 21. Now, initially at the beginning of 2020, one of my biggest goals was to travel more and to treat me and Kevin to like a really nice trip for my 21st birthday. I don't drink, I don't really party, so I was wanting to do something like a bit more mature and also kind of low-key, like maybe go to like a really relaxed all-inclusive resort, maybe book a staycation here in New York. I really didn't know. I hadn't made any concrete plans, and honestly, thank goodness that I didn't, because I probably would have lost a lot of money. So none of those plans ended up happening, of course, and you know, although I would have liked to do something for the health and safety of both myself and everybody in my family and Kevin, we just stayed home. And I actually had a show that I was producing that night, but basically in the morning I hung out with my dad, in the afternoon we saw my mom, I produced my show, then we met up with my dad again for some dessert, and although it was incredibly low-key and it definitely wasn't a typical 21st birthday, I still had a really great and special day, and I'm incredibly thankful for all of my, you know, family and Kevin who really tried to make it feel like a special birthday. And to be completely honest, like turning 21 really isn't everything, especially if you're somebody like myself who rarely ever drinks. And so I was okay with taking it easy this year and just making sure that I was staying healthy and keeping everyone around me healthy so that I can have, you know, really memorable birthdays in the future. My golden birthday is actually coming up in 2021, so I turned 22 on June 22nd, so maybe by then we'll be able to do some sort of little trip or staycation. I'm cautiously optimistic, but you never know. My dad's birthday was also a few days later, and it was really special to get to celebrate it with him because ever since, you know, moving to New York full time, I definitely haven't been able to see my dad as often as I would like to, so this was just a really memorable moment. Then we roll into July, so July 3rd was my sister's birthday. If you guys didn't know, both me, my dad, my mom, and my sister, we all have summer birthdays within 3 weeks of each other, so it gets a little crazy and a little expensive. But again, it was great to get to spend the day with her, and then July 5th, we decided to drive back to New York. At the time when we first left New York in March, cases were just out of control, and cases in Nashville were pretty low, but by the time we decided that it was, you know, time to like pack up and get back to our lives, the cases in Tennessee were out of control and the cases in New York were pretty manageable. That's certainly not the case anymore. Both states are just completely insane when it comes to, you know, case numbers, but at the time it seemed just like a good point to kind of finally pack up and get back. And then towards the end of the month, our sweet little puppy, Dakota, the love of both of our lives, had her first birthday, which is just so precious, and it was so exciting, and I can't believe she's about to be 1.5. We tried to truly give her the best day possible. You know, we're always just striving to be the best pet parents that we can be. So we got her doggy ice cream, which she had for the first time and absolutely loved it. We got her a new toy. We took her on an extra long walk, obviously wearing masks and being very, very safe. But it was a great day for her. It was a great day for us. We like took a ton of pictures with her. We seriously just, we love her so much. And she has been one of the biggest blessings during this time, because I feel like just having a dog during a pandemic and during a quarantine has just been like the best. She forces us to get outside, she brings us so much laughter and so much joy, and we are just so thankful for her. August was again pretty chill, but September was a busy month. It's always a busy month because there's lots of celebrating, and I feel like it was also a really busy work month, and it was also a very monumental work month. As far as my personal life goes, me and Kevin celebrated our 3-year anniversary, which again, absolutely insane. Cannot believe that we've been together for 3 years. On one hand, it feels so much shorter, but then on the other hand, it feels like so much longer in the best way possible. And then 3 days later, Kevin celebrated his 26th birthday. Again, we really couldn't do much, but I tried to make it as special as possible for him. We actually spent the day in Staten Island with his family, which is where he's from. And then as far as my career path and my business, it was a really monumental month. I made a big announcement video here on my channel back in September, so some of you guys might have seen that already, but September was actually the month that I officially had no more ties to retail and I was completely working for myself full-time. Technically, I had been working for myself full-time since March, but I was still, contractually employed by my retail company. However, even through September, up until the time that there were no more ties, I wasn't even working for them. I was just still contractually an employee. But it was really exciting just to know that it was truly all on me, and I was self-employed through both my, freelancing producing business and also my YouTube channel and social media. And to this day, I still completely work for myself full time. Again, it has just been one of the biggest blessings, and it was one of the best surprises that such a crazy year ended up bringing me. The fact that I was able to stay employed through one way or another this year, when I know so many people lost their jobs and their sources of income, is something that I truly never take for granted. I know how lucky I am, and so I wake up each and every day just insanely grateful that that was a possibility for me. And of course, how could I forget? I'm so sorry. September is the month that I finally decided to launch my podcast about you with Ruby Locknar. It was something that I had wanted to start for so long, and it truly has been like the little engine that could. Honestly, the growth has just completely surprised me. For any of you guys who are also listeners of my podcast, I just want to thank you all so much for the continued support and just your insanely kind comments and following the podcast's Instagram account. Just thank you for all the love. It truly means the world to me. In October, I drove back down to Nashville by myself. Yes, 12 hours. It is a very long drive. But I drove back down to spend time with my family, but also get a few things done in Nashville that I couldn't do just over the phone or online. There were business things that I needed to take care of. I think that was pretty much it for October. Oh, I also got to vote for the first time, which was, again, incredibly exciting, very monumental. It felt so special, especially this year, because the election was truly one of the most important elections that I think there ever will be. I was very excited to exercise my right to vote for the first time, and especially being a young woman, it just felt that much more important. November was a crazy work month. I produced one of my biggest projects to date. I produced a virtual production of a Tennessee Williams play called Night of the Iguana, and it was actually starring Dylan McDermott and Felicia Rashad, which, I mean, could you get any better than that? I really don't think so. Again, it was really just one of those pivotal moments career-wise this year that let me know, wow, I really do have something special here with my business, and, it just inspired me to keep pushing and keep leveling up. And in November, obviously, there was also Thanksgiving, but this year was very special in particular because it was actually my first Thanksgiving that I was able to spend with my family in over 3 years. And that's simply because working for myself and working remotely, I can work from wherever as long as I have my laptop. So I was able to literally pack up my things and go to Nashville, not have to give anybody any kind of notice because I am my own boss. Kevin did have to stay in the city though and work, so he kept Dakota up here. He spent Thanksgiving with his family in Staten Island, and I went down to Nashville to spend it with mine. I feel like I've overused this word in this video, but again, it was just so incredibly special to finally get to do something so simple, which is just spending a holiday with your family, but I was finally able to do it for the first time in literally years. We made a really great Thanksgiving meal at home with my dad, and then I went to go spend time with my mom and my grandma later in the evening, and it was just really great. And then we get to December, which is maybe my favorite month of the year. You guys know, I love the holiday season, I love Christmas, I truly just thrive during December. It's also the time of year where you really start reflecting, you start thinking about resolutions and goals, and I'm a very goal-oriented person, so I love this time of year just for many different reasons. But December was actually a really great month. It was full of, you know, a lot of surprises. This was the first year that I actually decided to do Vlogmas on my YouTube channel. I was finally able to do it simply because I am able to design my own schedule day to day. I never felt like Vlogmas was something that I wanted to do or something that you guys would want to see back when I was working a standard 9 to 5 because every day was truly just the same. But now that I'm able to design my schedule day to day, I knew that it was something that I wanted to do. I knew that it was going to be a challenge. I knew that it was going to push me, but I had so much fun and I am already looking forward to doing it again next year. And then the last big thing that happened in December is me and Kevin found our brand new apartment, and it is seriously like such a dream come true. I really do feel like for the stage of life that we're in right now, it's our dream apartment. It has everything we could possibly need and more. Obviously, like in the years to come, I'd love to find an even bigger space. Within like the next 5 years or so, I would personally love to start looking to buy an apartment here in the city, which I know sounds crazy, but you know what? I am determined to make it happen, so we're just gonna make it happen. But like I said, for right now, I really do think it is just the perfect apartment for us. I couldn't have asked for a better space. We move in as I'm filming this 4 days from now, which again is just like so crazy. I feel like every single day we've been just like packing up more stuff and sorting through things and decluttering things and just getting ready to move. It is so nerve-wracking, but it's also really exciting. As much as I talked about in today's video, there is probably still so much more that I could have mentioned, but as I reflect on 2020, these were the things that were really like the standout moments to me. Above all else, I am just so incredibly thankful for my health this year. I feel like I've always been somebody who's really thankful for their health, but this year just really put things into perspective even more for me. And this year also just taught me to really remember to look for the silver linings in things and always try and kind of see things in a glass half full mindset. One of the biggest silver linings and surprises that this year brought me is so much unexpected time with my family, but my dad specifically. Because like I said, living here in New York City, my mom has a place here, and so I see her a lot actually, but I don't get to see my dad nearly as often as I would like to. And so having 5 months with him where literally we had dinner with him every other night for like 5 months straight, it was just one of the biggest gifts I could have ever asked for, and I will truly never forget it. I'm getting really emotional right now. I just love my dad. He's one of my best friends, and it was also great for him to like get to spend more time with Kevin. He also finally got to meet Dakota and spend 5 months with her, and Dakota is just so in love with my dad. It's seriously the cutest thing ever. 2020 was a rough year. It was a year of hardships. It was a year of a lot of tragedy, but it was also a year of little surprises and, you know, good things that, you know, I really wasn't expecting. And I also just want to say a giant thank you to everybody who has supported me and this channel this year. I feel like we have finally started to see some pretty drastic growth, and that really, really excites me. I love creating videos. It's something that I really don't ever see myself stopping, and so you guys are kind of stuck with me for the long haul, and I thank you all so much for deciding to stick with me and deciding to stick with this channel. It just truly means the world. It really, really does. I'm excited for 2021. I think we're all craving that kind of fresh start, and obviously a new year doesn't mean that like everything's just gonna go back to normal. It's clearly not, but I just like the fact that we have so much time to change things. You know, it's only January 1st. We have 12 months left to go. I'm really excited to see where my business continues to go. I'm so excited to continue creating content on my podcast and here on my channel and Instagram, Twitter, even TikTok. I'm having so much fun with TikTok, but I'm just really excited, and I hope that you all are too. And you know, in this new year, I wish each and every one of you nothing but the best. I love you guys so much. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and also click that subscribe button. We are trying to reach 5K. That is the next goal for this channel. We are really, really, really so close. Be sure to follow me on all of my other social media networks, subscribe to my podcast, check out my Amazon shop. There are always like a ton of fun links in the description box. I love you guys so much. I hope that you all are staying safe, happy, and healthy, and I will talk to you all in my next video. Okay, bye guys.